Welcome back. This is part 4 of the video series on leadership theories. Today we'll be covering situational theory. In the earlier videos, we have seen what leadership is, how it is important for any of the companies, how leadership theories have evolved over the period, what are the various theories that were given, starting with the great man theory, to the traits theory, to the behavioral theory, to the contingency theory, and now we are dealing with situational theory. This particular theory was kind of given in the 1960s, 1970s. We have seen in the earlier part 3 of this particular video series that in contingency theory, the leader needs to change. You will ask Mr. A to step away and you will bring in Mr. B in the place of leadership because the situation demands as such. But in situational theory, it's a different ball game altogether. Situational theory said that if a difficult situation arises inside of a company, the leader can adapt himself, the leader can change himself and manage the particular game properly. Imagine managing a boys or a girls soccer team. Managing a boys soccer team is totally different from managing a girls soccer team because the individuals are different. So if a leader needs to has been managing the boys for a very, very long time, and if now he has to manage girls as a soccer team, he will have to adapt himself to the nuances of how girls behave and how girls can perform in stressful situations. So the leader needs to change is what the situational theory is basically trying to say. Now over here in situational theory, there are four particular scenarios. One is D1, where the team members do not possess the motivation or tactical skills to complete the necessary job. D1 is basically where the team members are not good enough. They are just for the sake of being there. They are not well educated. They are not having good qualification. They are not motivated. D2 is when the team members are willing and ambitious, but they lack the necessary ability. They might be having the best of best motivation, but they do not have the ability. D3 is a situation where the team members possess the skills and capacity to accomplish the task, but they are not willing to take accountability. They have everything. They have the ability. They have the capacity to do tasks, but they are not willing to take any responsibility or work. They are just being lethargic. So what can you do as a leader in this kind of a situation? And the last one is D4, where the team members possess all the right talents and are highly motivated. This is the best ideal scenario for any leader. This is easy cakewalk. D4 is an easy cakewalk. The team members have all the qualifications, they have all the capability, and they are highly motivated. So what are the various ways in which these situations can be managed? So Hersey Bankert gave the situational theory. He said that in the case of D1, where the staff are having low competence and they are still having good amount of commitment, you can be directing in nature. Because they are not well qualified, you need to tell them what to do. That is directing for you. On the right hand side, it is directing. That is directive behavior. Then in D2, you have some competence among the members, but the commitment is low. They do not want to work. In that case, but they have some amount of competence. In that case, you will coach them. You will coach the employees because they have some amount of competence and the commitment is low. So you coach them and you make them work. As a leader, you make them work and get their goals attained. The third one is supporting, wherein D3, if you look at it, they have moderate to high competence and commitment was not there. In this case, you have to support them, you have to be standing with them, and in that case they will be able to achieve their numbers in the best possible way. And the last one is when the people are having high competence and they are having high commitment, then the only thing that you need to be doing there is just delegate them the work and keep standing behind their back, just observing what they are doing. You need not interfere, you need not support, you need not coach. So these are the various 4 options depending for a leader, depending upon the situation that is available inside of a company. And the company leadership can either direct or coach or support or delegate depending upon the various situations that is available. So this was situational theory for you, given in the 1970s. Now, we have certain modern leadership theories. We need not spend much time on this because it has been an evolving field and not much questions are asked from this particular portion of this particular syllabus and this particular leadership styles. Now, the transactional leadership basically talks about leader and employer or worker having a transactional kind of a relationship between them. It is basically just about increasing the rewards. If somebody is behaving in a proper way, you reward them. If somebody is not behaving in a proper way, you punish them, and modulating the rewards and punishment thing for a transaction. A particular transaction is considered to be the behavior between the leader and the workers of the particular company. Then we have the transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is not based on this particular transactional nature, that the way you behave with your employees is what they will also behave, and they will accordingly action reaction will keep on happening. It believes that you need to be, as a leader, you need to be transforming the people, providing for them, standing behind their backs so that they can transform themselves and do much more for the company. That is transformational leadership. Leadership member exchange theory is also based on a similar kind of a transactional kind of a leadership, wherein your behavior will depend the behavior of your employees. This is basically an exchange of relationship, an exchange of goodwill between two people. If one behaves in a positive way, if the leader behaves in a positive way, the workers will also behave in a positive way, just like the transactional leadership theory. But this kind of a theory can give rise to insiders and outsiders. Somebody who likes the leader will become an insider, will follow him, and will keep on doing everything for him, and there will be a big group of people inside the company in leader member exchange theory who will hate the leader and who will not try to be in his particular party or be on his particular side. They will not support him mentally and even physically. So that is a very big problem with leader member exchange theory. The last one is servant leadership. It is a mix of servant leadership is mixed of transactional and transformational theory. In this particular kind of theory, there is high amount of trust, high amount of cooperation, and there is basically a understanding of reciprocal service. If a leader does something for the workers will repay him back. That is a reciprocal kind of a service that happens over here because of servant leadership, because the leader is not concerned about his tagline, because the leader is not concerned about his status in this particular case, and he tries to help all the employees, the workers. High performance is expected in servant kind of leadership. So these are the various modern leadership theories, and this particular theories are keeping on evolving. Now we have reached to the end of this particular presentation on leadership theories. I hope you have enjoyed it. I would like to sum it up, or quote this particular quote from Henry Ford. He said, "The great need for the world has always been for leaders. With more leaders, we could have more industry. More industry means more employment and comfort for all." So you have to understand, as I have kept on telling over this entire video series, that leadership is in great crisis as of now. We have great amount of managers, we have good amount of managers, good amount of bosses, but leadership is very, very few in this particular world. So if you can transform yourself into a good leader, there is a lot of opportunity for you to grow and to create an impact in this particular world, inside of your company, inside the government, and for the society at large. Thank you so much.